I saw Tony also,
Yeah.
you know, so Tony still I think is one of the most radical.
Yeah.
He doesn't go into personal
No,
stories, never, there's nobody here, so I mean, and I've listened to many teachers through the years, and you know, also you have these physicians that talk about like Bruce Lipton and these guys, cell biology, and you know, or Joe Dispenza, or The Secret, or all that stuff. So it's interesting to listen to these people as well, but still, it always puzzles me. I mean, if we're not here, which is really does make sense, and also what you was just saying now, it's still a relief, you know, like, oh my God, yeah, I need to hear it over and over and over again. Yeah, there is no me, there is no story. So, but these teachers are talking about that you can manifest things, you know, so if you keep on doing these affirmations or think about it, be positive, like it's already here, so you can create it. How do you look at that? Because still I can't combine these two, you know, so it doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I'm actually really into it.
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm really into it.
Okay.
I like it.
Okay, good.
I see it. It's a great question. Thank you for asking that. And I love this subject. So our essence is love, like life is love. And to me, it's a feeling of love. Some non-duality people would say it's not a feeling, and I also agree with that, it's not a feeling, but I also am happy to call it a feeling. Like some argue and say it is a feeling, some say it's not. And I'm quite happy to say, if we want to break it up into non-duality words, like love is the I am, and consciousness is the emptiness, the wisdom, just if we're splitting it up, eventually it comes to nothing and everything. So that sense of I am, the sense of existence, is love. And our natural way of being is love. Our natural expression is love. And that I am comes into the body, and the body has this, so it's looking through the body, but the I am, I would say, is everything as well. It's not, I don't mean I am a name, I mean prior to I am, like the prior bit, that sense of existence. And then we have a body that has a chakra system. I mean, it's not true that we have a chakra system on the ultimate level, but I like that way of talking about it. It seems that emotions arise in the chakra system, and it's really accurate with health, with your well-being, with your emotional body, and I like it. I like Chinese medicine. I like Ayurveda medicine, and it looks through these bodies, and these bodies and the world are one and the same thing. If you have a body, and it's not anybody's fault, it's not anyone that's doing it. If you have a body that's born into this world from parents that have like really low self-esteem, and they always feel like they're failures, and they grow the baby in the belly with that, and then the baby's born, so it's genetically predisposed to that type of thinking, and then they keep teaching the child that the child's not worthy and that the child will always be a failure. I suspect it's highly unlikely that that child will go on to be a success. And that's how I think it works.
Doesn't okay. So you think that what you're saying now is that okay, it can't change.
Oh,
so there's no use.
It can change, yeah.
It can change.
Yeah. But I'm just talking about law of attraction. That if it's been brought up with that way of thinking, then it will produce that and manifest it in its life. It can change it if it comes across these teachings, for sure. It can. It can also change it, just spontaneously, just because life determines that. But yeah, this is the way I see it. I see that everyone gets what they want. It's not what they consciously want, but it's what their body wants. And that child, I would suggest, is because it's had so much input that's a failure, deep down, if you were to get its chakras to speak, it speaks, I want to be a failure.
Okay, yeah, I understand that. But so, let's say this child grows up and enters into some great teacher, and it tells her or him, okay, so here you can change everything, you can manifest now the best things in your life. Just imagine it's already there and keep on doing that, every day, and it will suddenly be there. Yeah. So that's what you think, well...
I did think it quite happens like that. I think that to me that would be a very superficial teaching of it. To me, I would say that they would go through a process of first of all recognizing suffering, which would be to recognize suffering in the world and suffering of their mind, and they would recognize their predisposition, so their particular way of being. And from that recognition, not the ignorance of it, so recognizing their vibration on the human level. And I think this does go along normally with non-duality. There has to be a certain amount of work on the personality structure. Like if the person's in hell, it does seem there has to be something that relaxes, but not all the time. That's not always the way. Life is quite magical in the way it manifests. But so first of all, they have to recognize their vibration and what they're putting out to the world. And they have to be honest about it. So before you can change it, you have to be honest about it. You have to recognize it. The reason I say yours is superficial, the way you put it, is because I see people doing this, but they're doing it from a superficial way. They're trying to put over something that they're unconscious. They're unconscious that's saying I'm a failure, and then they're trying to reprint in there I am successful, and they're never actually dealing with that vibration that's in their body. So vibrationally, they're still attracting to themselves negativity. So first of all, I think they have to acknowledge their karma, like acknowledge and see it's totally impersonal, that it's a robot functioning. So there has to also be a seeing that it's nobody's fault. You never asked to be born, if you were that child, with that feeling of being a failure. It was never your doing, you never did anything wrong, and equally the others that victimized you or did things to you aren't ultimately guilty. If you still have the thoughts that they are guilty or that you're guilty, then you're going to be stuck in the hells of blame and guilt realms. So you've got to acknowledge all these things and break off those. It's not even you doing it, but the breaking off of spending months and months and years destroying yourself with drugs or destroying others' lives. So once you've recognized it, which is really deep, recognizing it, like that's really a deep thing to be honest with yourself and to be genuine with your karmas. Very difficult because you've got an idea of what you want to be, and you want the spiritual search to be over like that. So it's very difficult to repetitively acknowledge darkness within yourself, like that difficult dynamics. Once it's been acknowledged, then I think there's the possibility to begin to change it. You have to acknowledge where it is in your body, and you have to recognize it happening during life, and you have to surrender to your karma. So if you walk into a room, you acknowledge that you're walking into the room saying how much you hate everyone, and then underneath that what you're feeling is you're feeling vulnerable and unloved. You have to acknowledge that people are going to show to you lack of love and not want to be around you. Why is somebody going to want to be close to someone with bad energy, like that's saying I'm worthless, I'm worthless, I'm worthless? But it's very difficult in those situations to go in and admit it. Like you're going to go into that situation and your mind is going to want to blame others and call them arrogant, stuck up. Who do they think they are? They're so arrogant, they do this, they do that. Very hard. This is why often you need a teacher with these things to keep pointing it out, because the mind keeps wanting to be forgetful and tell how the world's done bad things. And then there's this acknowledgement. So you go in, you acknowledge it, and you acknowledge your karma is that people are going to do exactly what you think, or feel, predominantly feel, vibrationally give off. So when you come into a room and you feel worthless, people are going to treat you like you're worthless. And that's the way it is. And that's your doing, but not your doing. And everybody is programmed with their particular conditioning and vibration, and nobody's fault. We're all like wound up on the human level. And my dad passed on his karma to me, and my mum passed on her karma to me, and I'll pass on this if I have children to the next generation. And unless I change, well, I've changed it to quite an extent, but this bundle of energy will be passed on to people I meet and people I interact with. So your life, so law of attraction, like attracts like, is to me absolutely obvious all the time. All the time. Like attracts like. Your external world reflects what you feel internally. You can't help it. And that doesn't mean that rich is better than poor. I'm not suggesting what's the best life. I think that maybe a simplistic life is better. Doesn't mean a sadhu is attracting bad things, and that once you really begin to get humble with it, then everything is a gift, because everything gives you the opportunity to change that karma. This is different from non-duality, because normally you have to have a period of settling down, so acknowledging this, accepting this on the human level for non-duality to be seen. But non-duality, that energetic can shift and happen at any point. I still work with my karma. Like I still have to work with things that I attract, difficult situations that I attract, and I look at it and have to be humble and see why or how I'm attracting it, and see it's all a game. And really, at the end of the day, we have more pleasant experiences and less pleasant, but it's a game. Like, you're going to have ups and downs and roundabouts, and you're going to bring in difficult things, and then it'll be easy, and that's the way it is. So that's how I see it. So I don't see it as simply as they teach it in The Secret or anything like that. But I think it's the same as what the Buddhists teach. You know, that's what they were teaching me with karma when I studied Buddhism. It's the same thing. But people get upset about this thing because they easily get onto, so if I'm disabled, that means I was bad in the last life, and it doesn't mean that at all. Disability, you know, being disabled could be the most beautiful experience of your life if it's seen in the right light. I'm actually was registered as disabled in the United Kingdom. I'm dyslexic, and that's actually considered disability, so I could go on to disability benefits. I'm disabled of the mind. And it was the biggest gift of my life. You know, I had severe dyslexia, not just minor, like I was illiterate, I couldn't speak. So dyslexia can often manifest as problem with speech, problem with saying words. And I now publicly speak and I forget my words. Like, I'm also living in France, and I've got to learn a new language, and it's difficult for me to put sounds and words together. My brain doesn't work so well in that way, but that's my karma. And it's given me so many gifts and so many opportunities. I totally failed at school. I had a very high intellect, or not very high, a moderately high intellect, but absolute failure at school. I was such a failure, I got put down a year. Absolute failure. And yet I could understand what the teachers were talking about. I could just never pass the test. So it's like everybody else can talk, but you've got duct tape over your mouth. I mean, what a lesson. That was really like I could never succeed. No matter what I did, I couldn't succeed. Even if I studied 10 hours and my classmates had studied 15 minutes, I still couldn't do that. That was my karma. And it was really a beautiful gift. It taught me so many things, so much humility. It taught me it's okay to fail. So all my friends were scared of failing by the time we finished school. And I was like, well, I've always failed, it's okay. So I risked, I took risks. I was like, it's not so bad. But the ones that were really highly successful, they were very scared of failing. So there was, and it transformed. And I went in, and I was a playwright, and I studied playwriting and did a degree in playwriting, and love language and love all these types of things. And that difficulty with language actually made me better at writing characters and writing scripts, because I looked at the detail. I paid attention to the detail. So it's all got its karma. We've all got our karmas. Everybody, and it's all looked at the right light. Everything is a gift. Everything. And that's the true guru. That's the true guru, when your mind gets to that, seeing that everything is a gift. Everything is helping you expand. So Swami said to me and my friend the other day, like, I just thought it was so sweet. He came along and said that knowledge is infinite. Like, it never ends. And it's the same with expanding, and our karmas always help us expand, like get over new ideas, stopping being stuck on anything. We expand and we expand and expand. Yeah. So that's how I see it. Does that it doesn't really reconcile it with non-duality, only in the sense that your essence is love, and I think that the more the personality gets balanced, the more that all the desires and the wishes of the person are from love, because the person gets thinner and thinner and the karmas get out of the way, and so your manifestation is a lot about giving and love. Like, you're not separate from your essence, so a lot of the personality structure is about wanting to give and love, like these two feelings, which is, I think, very balanced for a human, that we're in this state of giving, not giving away everything, but like we always want to create, we're creative, and that is giving.